Okay. Third-party tracking, whatever. Oh no, my audio isn't going through the right. Okay, now it is. uh, okay. Okay. Options first. Hello, Jaku. Welcome in. This game isn't scary, right? Wait, what is? Why is the? Why is the background music scary? Controls for first person camera. It's first person? What's vertical? Horizontal camera? Okay, we'll see. We'll see first. I'm scared. I thought this was just a walking simulator. Why is there spooky sounds? How's audio? How's everything? Hello. Welcome. Cats have been fed. I have my tea. Today we have my favorite vanilla rose chai. I couldn't have it for a while because I couldn't find my tea infuser. But then showed me this other one that we had. So now I get to make tea. My favorite tea. Oh, okay. I'm stalling for sure. I'm kind of scared. It sounds scary now. I mean, I thought it was just a delivery game, you know? It sounds scary. Okay. Okay, I'm ready. This game isn't scary, right? Because it's still. Okay. 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 I believe. I have never seen this, so me too. I haven't watched anyone play it either. Usually, I watch other people stream scary games, so I don't have to play it. And if nobody is streaming it, then I make Ven play it, and I watch him stream it or play it for me. um, from what I've seen, all I know is that it's Norman Reedus, right? Question mark, probably, yeah. The guy from Walking Dead, the zombie show. Um, and he has a baby, and he walks. And I've seen people carry stuff on their backs. That's it. That's all I know about this game. um, yeah. How's your weekend? I'm still stalling. I'm not ready. Wait. I'm I'm gathering the energy, not the energy, the bravery. I am cultivating cultivating bravery. Weekend came and went. I don't remember what I did this weekend. Oh, we watched Dune again. We watched Dune while playing Dune. Um, yeah. We understood so much more. We were like, oh my god, las guns. Oh my god. A thopter. Oh my god. And then the part where the Fremen lady Kynes, I was like, Kynes? Liet Kynes, you're in the game. They talk about you. Okay. Okay. even the background stuff, like the windows. I was like, wait, we have that in game too. We've built, we've we've built using these pieces. This game supports autosaving. An icon will be displayed in the bottom right of the screen. I also just woke up, by the way. I woke up like 5 times last night. um, and then this morning, Conan woke me up because she started dry heaving on the bed, and I had to like jump off the bed and take her to the bathroom. Okay. Before she threw up on the bed. But then she didn't throw up at all, so. Do not exit the game or turn off power while the icon is displayed. I cannot guarantee that I won't. If I get scared, I'm quitting. Very easy. Okay, choose the difficulty at which the game will be played. This can be changed at any time in the options menu. Recommended for those who have familiarity with action games. Strikes a balance between challenging gameplay and ability to enjoy story. Recommended for those who find action games difficult. Do I play action games? Test. Oh no. Is it all good? Is it me? Is it you? I'm sorry. It's not you, it's me. Recommended for those with little. Whoa. If I can change this at any time, can I go back and forth? Like, can I go to very easy if I'm having a hard time? Who are good at action games. Completing the game at this difficulty requires a variety of skills, but will provide a true sense of accomplishment. Particularly, deliveries and battles will be battles. Eating your messages? Hold on, let me look at my Chromium. Oh, yeah, it's not sending, but it's also saying that my stream is unstable, so. Oh my god. I'm gonna ignore it. I'm gonna ignore it. I choose not to see it. It's not there. Oh, one of the times I woke up last night, there was a spider in my bathroom, and I killed it. I killed it. There's something about, like, being half awake. It's just so much braver when you're half awake. I stared at it and was like, should I wake? Should I wake someone? Should I grab a cat to do it for me? Okay, we're gonna do normal. If it gets too hard, I'll go easy. And then if it's too easy, then I'll just go hard. Okay. Makes sense, right? Difficulty can be changed at any time via the options menu. That's good. Let's start. Oh. Normal. Oh boy. Here we go. Which one is checking additional content? The additional content found power gloves and additional items can be fabricated once the base versions of said items become available. What? Squint gaming, right? I'm already squinting. I'm like zooming in with my body. Where's my browser? My cursor. Additional content found. Standard issue Bridges SDT suit. Okay. I don't know what all these are. Okay. Acquiring relevant items will make colors available for use. Okay. Sure. My tea should be ready by now. Um, why do these look scary? I'm still setting up the game, but it's already looking mighty scary. Adjust the brightness so the image on the right can be seen, but the image on the left cannot. Can I lie? Can I lie? I'm gonna lie. I can't see that. Image on the right cannot be seen. It's this. But I will lie and leave it where it is. Oh, whoa. Statistical analysis has indicated that Doom's abilities vary according to the sufferer's date of birth. What? In order to establish your own ability levels, please enter your birthday. What? Is there gonna be any more questions like this? Should I hide? Am I being doxxed? Will I be doxxed? Is this your birthday? What's your address? What's your social security number? It gives you a special power up depending on the last 3 digits in the back of your credit card. Yes, I think. This one time I put down that my birthday was on the 1st because I don't know. I think like the numbers started to look the same to me and I'm like, isn't that a disorder? Which Harry Potter house do you belong to? Higher levels of Doom abilities can be observed in those born under the constellations such as Delphinus. Delphinus! Cancer, Pisces, Cetus, Delphinus, and Gigas. Got it. What constellation am I? Ooh. Spoopy. Why are we in the water? Hello, Miswa. Why are we in space? Water. What? Kojima. Alright, and that's it. I'm out. The rope along the stick. What? Are 2 of mankind's oldest tools. The stick to keep the bad away, the rope used to bring the good toward us. They were our first friends of our own invention. I know this voice. How many explosions are there? 4? Is this DMCA 3? Whoa. Rip VOD. This is pretty. It's like a movie. What's that? Those look like cans. Mads Mikkelsen. Sorry, my head is in the way. I don't know where I should be. Leia Sado. Margaret Qualley. I don't know these ones. Troy Baker. Oh, you guys can see that. Just the ones that I'm blocking, I guess. I'm blocking that? No. Whoa! Yeah, Del Toro. some big names. Jesse Corti. It's like we're watching a movie, guys. Emily O'Brien. I don't know who that is. Hello. Got some pimple patches for you, sir. I got ones in the shape of stars and ones that'll... Ooh. Acid rain. It's him. It's the guy from The Walking Dead. I don't even know what his name is in this game. Oh no. Are they invisible? They better hecking not be. You can smell them if you're there. How much for the motorcycle? We'll see if I destroy it. I hope there's no vehicle damage. Oh no, the burbs are dying from the acid rain. Oh no, oh. Ooh. Hey guys. Woo! Oh my god, we killed someone! Why would you just stand there? Oh, so this is the walking part. Hey, so smart drugs. Wait, recover your cargo, then find shelter from the rain. Grab with left hand, carry on back. Can I put it on my back? What? Cargo first. Hazer fall. Well, it's a good thing we find out now, right? Right. This game's like, it's too soon. You're kind of... No! I have to actually... Repatriate... Sam is a repatriate, meaning that he can return to life from the place known as the Seam when killed. In the Seam, follow the strands to guide Sam's soul to his body to bring him back. Okay. Is this your body? Hey, buddy. Mwah. Oh god, we actually do go into his mouth. Oh, ew. Okay, I hate that. Is that a dream catcher? Oh god. That's terrifying. Don't die, I guess. Yeah! Eat crypto bio. What the guys, there may be some swearing in this game. Okay. Hunker down. All right. So, right. Q to scan. Oh. The Odra deck can scan for cargo tags. Every piece of cargo has a tag attached. Huh? I'm so lost. Also, this is moving a little too fast for me. Tips system. What? Keyboard use. Yes. How to not fast. Vertical? No. No. Horizontal. Slow. It was at 10, right? Or 7. A little... a little slower. What was it? At 5? That's a little too slow. Where is the stuff? Where is me cargo? Oh. Something this way. Do we go up? Whoa, he keeps running even when I stop him. Where's the lady you killed? I don't know. She's not dead. Oh, come on. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Calm down. I'm sorry. It's wet. It's slippery here, okay? Ah! Okay, he keeps running. Damaged cargo will be deducted from your pension. I'm sorry. How many? I bet she took my stuff. Space, jump, climb, hold space, climb continuously. So there's climbing. I didn't get out the rest of my stuff. Stupid lady. Margaritas. Sam. I don't even remember his name from Walking Dead. Hey, so how much cargo did we lose? Uh-oh. Do I have to commit a murder? Whoa. Ew. It's making me think of a Cascada song now. What? What? Oh, the hairs on his goosebumps. Oh, that's cool. Or not. You got a condition, son? Guys. How scary is this game? She's alive. We didn't kill her. Unless this is someone else. maybe she revived too. Fragile. Oh no, my cargo! Why am I holding my breath? It's because they didn't brush their teeth. I whispered and they heard me. Gone. That one movie where you can't make a sound? Was it Don't Breathe? Why are you always crying, girl? You were crying earlier too. You see those bodies in the air? It's like a movie. Oh no, he's crying. Porter. So do we understand what's happening so far? You gotta cry too? I don't remember the toggle for it. Allergies.
I've got the extinction factor, but I think you got me beat.
What's your level? You can see them, right?
No, but I can sense them.
I will too, then.
What are you doing here?
Trying to stay dry. Same as you. Time falls later. My name is Fragile.
Yeah, I've heard of you.
Nice to meet you. He's known to... Okay. We lost our cargo. She just wears her name on all of her clothing. Ooh. Nom nom. Snack?
You want it?
Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Ew.
Wanna come work for me? Must be tough out here in the rain.
He was just a little guy.
Yeah, let Fragile express it.
Plenty of traitors. Not much left of us now, save for a few misfits.
Huh?
Not much left of me either. That's up for you to tell.
I can't help you with that. I make deliveries, that's all.
Central Dispatch. Freelance contractor Sam Porter Bridges. Receivers standing by for drop.
Guys, how much cargo did we have? How come we can't hear her? You can't hear her?
Watch yourself. Those things never stop.
She's just showing off all her cool gear, huh? Oh no.
The time fall forwards whatever it touches. Wash everything away. The past just won't let go.
Sam Porter Bridges. Had to refresh? Oh no, Twitch is against you. Really? Are you sure it isn't me? Okay. Red bar is in... Well, when it reaches 0, Sam will die. The blue bar is stamina gauge. As this guy gauge depletes, Sam moves more slowly and maintaining his balance is harder. Okay, so we're full health. But like, how much loot? Cargo tools. Is there a light? Whoa! Lost cargo. E. Get on my back. Picked up. Head of distribution. Oh my goodness. Is there anything else back there? No. Okay. So this looks good. I think we had about this much. Oh, we get music playing automatically. I wonder if there's like a stream. Oh my goodness. He keeps running even when I stop. Guys, I don't know if these can go on YouTube. Is there a walk carefully option? Oh. So stop flailing your arms, Mr. Redis. Can I cross the river? Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Oh, more cargo. On my back. It's so loud. How's options? Audio. Headphones. Master volume only? BB's voice? There's no options for like the music audio? Oh my god, it's so loud. Don't be so serious. Don't be so serious. Wonder what's that way. I don't know what's that way, but cargo? You think? Is this cargo? How the heck did my thing fly off that far? When you center your balance on the river, you'll be able to resist the flow of water. If you center your balance with both hands, you'll be able to... Oh, so if I go like this? Versus this? I love his little grunts. He's so growly. Was that cargo? This seems like a controller game. Yeah, I don't have a controller. I can't hear myself think. Don't be so serious. Don't be so serious. Was there a road this whole time? Don't be so serious. Where am I going? Oh. What's caution? Will it electrocute me? Okay. Maybe we weren't supposed to cross the river. Were we supposed to go that way? That also says not city. Smart drugs. What the hell? Okay, we'll cross around here. Don't die. Recover your stamina. So like this. What do you grip for balance? I feel like I was supposed to arrive somewhere before the end of the song and I didn't. I hope it doesn't play again because it's really loud. What's this? Stop it! Oh, I have to hold it. Does that mean the thing over there was... Does that mean I have to go over there? Shoot. But there's more over here. Shoot. Let's go this way. Cross the river again. Hey, footsteps. I didn't come this way. Or did I? Shoot. Let's cross this way. Come on, buddy. So that's what a package looks like. How many hecking packages? Okay, I can't ask that question because I've seen somebody with like a skyscraper's worth of stuff on their back. Sorry, song. Please don't start over. I'm not there yet. Where was it? Okay. Whoa! Don't trip. Don't trip, Sam Bridges. Nature ASMR, guys. It's a walking simulator. There it is. No package left behind. Oh, this looks scary. Why do I feel like something's gonna bite our booties over here? Get on my back. You will sometimes find cargo from abandoned deliveries dotted. Oh, this wasn't even mine. In good condition? Wait, these are those little thingies. Eat. Om nom nom. Blood levels restored. That girl is making it look so good too. Bruh. Oh, brother. Alright, we gotta cross the river again. This guy needs better boots. I think I preferred crossing where those things were. Where I crossed. It's less, less water. More rocks. Okay, so these definitely weren't mine. Keeps grunting. Alright, so those plant thingies are... What are they called? Cryptobiote. They just float around like that, I guess. Ready to be eaten. Like gummy worms. Right here? Having the time of their lives, right? They just float. And wiggle around. Not a thought. Not a single brain cell. You tired, buddy? He's like, ugh. Oh my god. Paved road. Paved road. Technical sound designer. Shift. Oh. Hey, lost cargo. You got this. On your back. Is it too big? Oh my god. Bruh, this guy. Oh, is this where we... Damn it. You tired, buddy? Oh, I stopped pressing W. That's why. We're almost there. We're almost there. This is the delivery station, probably. And if it's not... We'll go buy you another motorcycle. He just grunts, huh? All the time. Carrying too much cargo will make it harder to maintain your balance. If balancing becomes too difficult, try holding E to offload. Nah. Nah. Whoa. Buddy! We can double over. Hey. Holding down buttons. F. When you see the F icon, you will need to hold down. Oh, if it has like the circle thingy. Try holding down until the delivery terminal responds.
Damn, he's our man.
He's talking. Note that you'll also need to hold down buttons other than F. For example, when you see 3, you'll need to hold down 3. Got it. Okay. F. Make delivery. One order. Oh. Oh, I'm lost. Okay. Why is it sideways? Predicted likes? We're doing this for likes? Can we do all? This piece of lost cargo is meant to be delivered here. It was returned. It will be returned to its recipient. Okay. Partial delivery. Can I just confirm? got an achievement. Is Sam a vlogger? Glorified. What is it called?
What took you so long? It's not like the legend to come in late.
Sorry. Sorry, ma'am.
Sounds like you've been through the ringer. Luckily, our goods are in perfect condition. Well, you did keep us waiting, but everything else seems to be in perfect order, so...
Bruh.
We'll be awaiting the next delivery.
I don't know what any of this means. Oh boy. Not subject to evaluation. Oh, you can see me backtrack. Awesome. Delivering is what I do. Completed the prologue. Oh, yay. Walk of shame. Oh boy. Alright. 186 likes. Wait, 100 likes earned for completing the order, 186. Likes from recipient, 189. What was the 3 extra ones for? Whatever. Thanks. No damage, even though you ran someone over? Oh, 7% damage. What the heck is happening? Skip. 315 likes from recipient. You see that? Honeymaker! Yeah! Oh no, there's gonna be stats. Are these stats? Auto skip on. Lol. Next. Whatever this means, I'm sure it all means something. Yay! Another job! In the future, the megacorps pay us with likes from AI bots. Where is it? Oh. Whoa. Look at this cool car. They're gonna make me walk? Corpse disposal team. Oh, bridges. Oh. Hey! Do you hear the dialogue now? You don't? Wonder if it's a me thing. Do you hear him grunting? You have to carry that. A mystery. Only hear your voice and some muffled game sounds. Uh-oh. Let me see if it's me as well. Well, it might. I don't hear it in my thing either. Maybe it's me. Bruh. Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? I need Miswa. Miswa!
This place is a crater. So how about it? Can we count on you?
Let me ask Miswa. Is my...
Contract with Sam Porter. Sam. Just Sam.
What?
Spot BTs. Just sends them. That's why we came prepared. A bridge baby, huh?
Not that I know what...
It's helping you. We'll be able to stay one step ahead of them.
What the hell? Wait, I wasn't paying attention. Also can't hear dialogue.
Roll out.
I don't know what to even Google to figure this out. Can I pause? I cannot. I cannot even go into settings during a cutscene. Not the dialogue. That's so strange. Also, then even if I download this VOD to upload to YouTube, it won't matter. Should I voice act it instead?
The world was different when I
Whoa.
was a kid.
Can I go to settings yet? Nope.
Country. Anybody could go
Nope.
anywhere they can. Well, please.
Whoa!
No need for couriers like yourself. We had highways, airplanes.
We got highways, airplanes.
even visit
Hell,
other
you could even visit other countries.
Hard to imagine it now.
Hard to imagine it now.
You can see that Death Stranding poked us full of holes.
As you can see, the Death Stranding poked
Fucked
us
us
full
beyond
of
all
holes.
recognition.
Yup.
And if you were lucky enough to survive, the timefall came and washed you away.
Okay, so far it seems there's
Beach showed up.
rain
Worlds of
that
living
makes
and
time go
dead all
faster.
mixed together.
The
That's
guys,
when folks started
hey, the
pulling up
corpse
in
is,
cities.
hey, the,
Couriers like
hey, the
yourself
corpse.
put up
Hey,
on a
so,
fence.
hey, so, the corpse. Look down. Oh, I can look down. So the rain, if it hits you, it makes your time go faster.
How much further to the incinerator? This guy's about to pop.
We're gonna have to cut to the BTs.
Okay, so it's time for combat, I guess. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? Toss your cargo at them. Okay, wait, so it's the cutscenes so you guys don't hear dialogue, but...
Sam, can you see anything?
I don't see anything, sir. Do you hear it now? I couldn't hear the grunting either. Oh. Do you hear? Wait, this is so weird.
This BB must be busted or something.
Okay. I don't know what I'm looking at. Yep. I lost control of the camera. So it's the driver's fault. Oh my god, crabs! Blue crab? That girl earlier that we met apparently fell into a tub of the time fall water. So everything from the neck down is wrinkly and old. Music earlier was just drowning out all the dialogue, maybe? I don't think he was speaking, but if are you, I don't know. Are you guys able to hear right now? I would need to Google this, but my phone is in use, and so is my You can't pull him out. Are you crazy? Why are you pulling? Put him out of his misery. Put him out of his misery. The rain, cover him at least.
Shut up. Don't even breathe.
Cover him. Oh no, he's old. Oh, they're crying too. Jaco, are you able to Google it for me, please? What do you mean, thumbs up? Why is their boot red? This is why we had extra pairs of shoes. Oh no. Oh no, I don't like this. Oh no, I don't like this. Bruh. We lost the cargo. Oh. My leg! My leg! Do you guys hear the screaming? Put him out of his misery! Blop, blop, blop. I don't want to see that. Blop, blop, blop him, blop him! What are you waiting for? Ah! What is that? Another guy with a baby. So the babies serve a purpose. I don't remember what. Oh no. They just toss the baby at us. Okay. Oh no. How come we don't have a gun? I'll put you out, buddy. Leave it to me. I got you. Okay, never mind. I don't got you. Oh, man. So he'd rather that I even? It's bright as heck. Okay. Okie dokie. Was it working until I changed the audio to be for headset? Why are we naked? Oh my god! Oh, don't cry. Save your tears for your allergy. Little baby handprints. Oh god. Did he have a C-section? Is that our baby? What's those things around your neck? Oh, booty! Show audio settings? Okay. It wasn't much, really. Look at those guys, Aura farming. Jeebus! It must stink in here. Do you guys hear this creepy singing?
Falling down, London bridges falling down.
So why are you dressed? You trust this water? So are we dead or... This reminds me of Once Human, honestly. Oh, we did die. Nom nom. Mwah! Look away, because I hate this part. Oh, it's an actual baby this time. Thumbs up. BB. Are we the baby? Hi, Mads. Is it just the cutscenes you guys can't hear the audio dialogue of? The little thingies. Eat it again. Hello, baby. Shake it. Shake it. Shake it like a snow globe. What? Okay. Oh, that's a big handprint. Audio is all sorts of messed up. It constantly changes what we hear and whatnot. Boo. Was it working fine earlier or was it also messed up earlier? Repatriate. Loading. It was messed up back then too. Wonder what's wrong. Guys, it's not loading. Oh, there we go. Up, 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 up. Still play the sound effects, ambiance. I wonder if I don't think it's anything on OBS's side. I think it's the game. Or maybe it is OBS. How many times are we gonna wake up? Good morning, gorgeous. Uh-oh. Bridget. Enable stereo. Yeah, it was stereo earlier, and then I switched it to
So, how does it feel to be back in the world of the living?
Hey, buddy.
Don't worry. I'm a doctor. Well, a coroner. Originally.
Medical.
Call me dead man. I'm well acquainted with the dead. Not like you.
Yeah.
Contrary to the
Special appearance.
never actually die. I would advise against that. I'm no expert, but I can assure you it's for your own protection. See? So I'm a prisoner? These aren't handcuffs. They're cutting-edge devices that keep us all connected.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh, us. Yup. Bridges. Humanity's best hope for the future. Or avoiding extinction, if you prefer. Right. Where am I? What time is it? Watch me. Try pressing it against your skin. Like this.
He has an accent. I wish I could go into the settings, but I can't until we're out of cutscenes.
Connection to the cuff link. Look, look. We'll watch over you 24 hours a day. That is to say, we will. We're here to help. What the hell? 2 days? During that time, we took the liberty of connecting fluid samples from you.
Oh, okay.
You're a repatriate. That makes you very special.
That scar on his forehead.
Central Knock was obliterated in the annihilation. Place is a crater.
Okay, that's one way of putting
The
it.
only ones to get it continue were you, for obvious obvious reasons. And your broken bridge, baby. It's been marked for disposal. Didn't work anymore. Why keep it? We lost everyone. Not just corpse disposal.
Okay.
In Capital Knot City now. Or should I say, our new headquarters. Sunbury seemed the logical choice. But our implementation team has been decimated. And there's only so much they can do in 2 days. Things here are a mess.
That's supposed to be us.
Fortunately, the director and his support team were out of town at the time, so the chain of command remains intact. I hate to do this so soon, but I have a job for you.
A job!
This stencil is from when you repatriated?
Repatriated.
Clingy woman in a cave.
Clingy woman in a cave.
I see. Aphenphosmophobia.
Aphenphosmophobia.
After you were out there alone, where no one could touch you.
Wait, I have a name for something Elias has.
So, the job is an urgent delivery.
Where's my pen?
I need you to bring the president some morphine.
The president. Aphenphosmophobia?
Not the mayor. America lives on, Sam. The president is in the final stages of cancer, in critical condition. But there's still
The
time.
president needs us. Which president? First of all.
Look, Sam. Do as I ask, and I promise it will all make
What?
sense.
Why don't you do it?
Because I'm not really here.
Wow!
Apologies. This is just a hologram. And here, come the tears. Allergic reaction to the chiral transmission. I'm actually over at the installation ward in the big triangle building. Here is the morphine. Bridges hereby enters into a contract with Sam Porter.
Allergic to everything.
The truth, Sam, is that America's last president wants to see you in person.
Okay.
Are you really about to say no?
Why do we care about America's last president, though?
Very good. I'll see you in the isolation ward.
Come on, gameplay! Scared me. Okay. System. Options. Audio settings. This is it. Optimize for speakers. Optimize for headphones. Default device. Speakers. No. Try speakers again. Confirm. Alright. You guys hear? Did you guys hear the overhead sound that was like Do you guys hear this one? He's grunting, he's grunting. No. Wonder what's going on. Hold on, I need to like adjust my seat. Okay. Maybe it's a setting on... Hear the faintest grunting from left ear. Odd. I don't know. Everything is the same. I didn't touch anything. Could it be audio encoder? That hasn't changed though. Oh.
That's right. Let's just sit here for a second and meditate.
He spoke. Bruh. Ah. Massage shoulders. What? Oh, I can sleep. Massage your shoulders, Sam Bridges. Okay, we can go to sleep. Let's see. Maybe it's game settings. What? Not. Windows sound settings? And then what? Stereo? For what? For what? How do I do that? Heal by sleeping for... Oh, he's dozing off! Would it be... I don't know. Please, I don't know. It's alright, Sam Bridges, go to sleep. Go to sleep while we figure this out. Do you guys hear him, snoozing? I click your tray icon on... Yeah, I'm in the sound settings, but what do I do now? Volume mixer? No. So odd. Mono audio, combine left and right audio channels into one. That sounds horrible. For Discord streaming by changing the audio output. Did that change anything? Did that do something? Try grunting. Wake up! Sorry, buddy. Stand up.
Okay.
Rested for 4 minutes. Grunt. He's grunting. He's grunting. It works. Okay. So I had to change.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
Sorry, that scared me. I did change the audio thingy to that number for my headset. That's weird. Did you guys hear the announcer guy scanning everything or scanning something, whatever?
Decontaminating suit.
Decontaminating suit. Did you guys hear that? Whoa. Kodak.
Check the map on your cufflinks if
Did
you're
you guys hear
lost,
this?
Sam. The isolation word should be pretty obvious. If you're not sure how to get there, you can set markers and draw routes too.
Thanks,
Try it out,
Guillermo.
you'll see what I mean.
Pristine, loud and clear. Alright, that's perfect. So it's just... okay. What? It doesn't make sense, but sure. Tab. Open cufflink. Cuffs... what? So I have to go here? Draw a route. How do I do that? Eh? D. Aha. Yes. That. No. D. Yep. Yup. Come on. There's no drawing. Guys, I'm lost without this. Place marker. Plot. Plot. Go this way. Silly. Yup. Uh-huh. Just a straight line, I guess. Was there no way to like... oh, okay. Now I have two lines. Off limits, so we go this way. Spooky sounds.
Sam, if you want to confirm you're headed the right way, check your compass.
Where's my
It'll never
compass?
steer you wrong. Provided you have a destination, that is.
Look, that's my route. G to enter compass mode. It's in first person. No thanks. I'd rather be lost. Use scroll. Quickly jump between markers. I didn't read the rest of the tutorial. Whatever it said. But I love first person. It makes me dizzy. Him sprinting. Surely there's nothing wrong going
Central wasn't just
through
home
that.
to Bridges HQ. It It was also the seat of the Reconstructionist movement.
Triangle
The
building.
president hadn't required special treatment. She would have never left. And if
President's
she
a
had,
woman.
we wouldn't have either.
Hello? Open up. So many cars. Caution. Noisy. So can I get a new outfit? I'm looking kind of roughed up. Did we get a suit to meet the president? Another cutscene. Do you guys hear these at least?
All trending the same way.
No chance of a recovery then?
None that I can see.
That voice.
We should start making preparations.
Sam. It's me, Dead Man.
You hear everything? Lovely.
Sorry, my mistake. I'm afraid the president's condition has deteriorated. Thank you. This will help to ease the pain. And allow her to speak with you in these final moments.
Her?
The first and last female president of the United States.
The first
Sure
and
you
last.
remember her. She raised you? You're not exactly dressed for a reunion. Take that off before you come inside.
So we go in naked. Anybody got some clothes for me? Thanks. Damaged. What? How did I get damaged? Is it because I dozed off? Oh, it's because I dropped it. I picked it up and dropped it. Next. Okay, skip. We're just watching a movie together, basically. That's not creepy at all.
That's the president's right-hand man, the director of bridges.
Suspicious.
Die Hard, man.
Oh, you were with Bridges 1? So, I guess
Oh,
no introductions
welcome to
are
the chat
necessary.
room. Uh-oh. Is the stream still up? You look like a villain.
What's it been, Sam?
Tommy
10
Earl
years.
Jenkins.
Look at us. A bunch of deathless freaks meeting like this.
Do I know you?
Yeah, well, good to see you two. President's waiting. It's your
I
mother,
was start.
Bridget. She's a bit out of it, but
Mother!
I know she'll recognize you.
We don't even recognize her. I'll start screaming if the stream goes down. Okay, okay. I'll keep a lookout.
Madam President, we've brought Sam.
Can't believe you guys didn't hear the beginning where they were talking about all the world building and stuff. Because I definitely wasn't paying attention. Oh, my head is annoying. Hello?
We'll leave you two alone.
Mama? Ooh.
Sam, I knew you'd come back.
Sad music time.
Are you doing all right?
Take hand, left click. We don't even know you. Lindsay Wagner. Not familiar.
Amelie.
Amelie.
Apparently we know that name.
Remember, Amelie went west. Took her 3 years to cross. She's trying to rebuild the country.
Still going on about that, huh?
You're the one I wanted to send, Sam. Time's running out. Help Amelie. She needs you. Together,
Okay.
you can help us reconnect. You can make America whole. Sam, if we
I don't know
both
about
come
that.
together again, humanity will not survive.
I mean, humanity
We don't need a country.
depends on America.
Not anymore.
We do. Alone, we have no future.
No, America's finished.
I agree.
Bridget, you're the president of jack shit.
Sam, listen to me.
Oh my god, we've ruined everything!
Please.
Oh my god, handprints.
So you are willing to help me?
No, I...
A baby! Ma'am, he don't like that.
I love you, Sam.
Ooh.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Madam President! Oh, no.
She's gone!
All hands on deck here. Season B fixed. Give me 150.
Ah! You killed the president!
She's not responding.
Stay with me. Madam President.
This is dropping.
Hold on.
It's like we're watching a movie. It's my kind of game, except for the scary parts. So who's next in chain of command? This game was before it became apparent America would rather commit Sudoku than vote for female president. Hey, a vault dweller. I know those colors. Oh, you guys can't see. I know those colors. Oh, he's not even there. Oh, nobody's here. None of it is real. LOL. It was all for her comfort. Now we don't even know what's her name? Amelie looks like.
Listen, no one can know that the president is dead.
Why?
If word gets out, Bridges is finished. Now what happened here does not leave this room. Do you understand?
Yes, Director. But there's still the matter of the body. Without corpse disposal.
We've got that covered.
Are you gonna make me carry my dead mother to the incinerator? What is real? Nothing's real. Guys, I feel kind of crowded
Sam.
here.
Before she died, the president made a contract with you.
What are you talking about?
As a
Being
member
gaslit.
of Bridges, you're gonna work with the rest of us to rebuild America.
You think you can recruit me? Like she tried to?
Well, she
I'm
succeeded.
gonna drink my tea while this
Look at your
happens.
wrist. If that's not symbolic, I don't know what is.
Director, the cancer spread throughout her entire body. Harvesting organs is out of the question, and there is no need for an autopsy. Her body needs to be cremated before she necrotizes.
And if we don't, this place will turn into another crater.
What do you want me to do?
We don't have any porters right
Oh
now.
God, we
And
do.
the CD team you went into the field with are dead. But the president's body has to be burned.
Why can't we burn
the
it
road
here?
from Capital Knot City to the incinerator was compromised in the void out. Now, the only way there is on foot, through the mountains.
What?
But the chiral density there is off the chart.
No one
gotta
thought
be
to
VTs.
build a road.
This job has requirements. Tombs. Repatriate.
So me. Why?
Sam, you're already on the clock.
Ah!
Now get it done.
At least you'll get like 200 likes. That's less than what I got last time. It's a good thing we don't remember her, so we don't have to grieve. LOL. God, we have to carry. Do we get a car? No, it has to be on foot. What the hell? Can we like compact her to fit on my
Can I
back?
have a moment? President Strand believed in American Reconstructionism. She worked tirelessly to bring the nation
She got a
together
ribbon.
again. And without her, there would be no bridges. She deserves a funeral with full honors. But we can't give her that. If she dies, America dies.
Without her, bridges will cease to be.
Listen. Her cremation must be carried out with the utmost secrecy.
Even if we pull it off, what then? Who's gonna take her place? Face it, America's history.
Sam, America isn't dead yet.
He just said that it dies if Bridget dies.
She may be lost to us, but we still have an America worthy of the presidency.
Sorry, what?
Let's not get into it now. What matters is that we're going to finish your mother's work and rebuild America as she intended. That's the reason Bridges exists. So take the first step, Sam, and deliver the president's body to the incinerator.
If we don't all come together again, humanity will not survive. You're the one I wanted to send, Sam. Time's running out.
God, she's gonna start talking to us.
You, Sam. I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Oh boy! Oh brother!
The facilities to the southwest. Remember that you'll be passing through BT territory.
We built the incinerator way up in the mountains so that the chiral matter in the smoke wouldn't reach the city. It won't be easy carrying a body up there.
His mother's body, by the way. Thanks, you guys. No one thought to stock up on porters knowing she was gonna
We'll
die?
be monitoring you around the clock. If anything comes up, we'll offer you support via the cufflinks.
This is horrible! Whoa. Okay. Let's see.
Getting to the incinerator will be anything but easy.
Oh.
Move around and change the angle of your map to gain a better understanding of the terrain.
Ugh.
See if you can't pick a path to your destination.
Pick a path. They didn't prepare this for me.
You with a number of suggested routes as
Oh,
well.
they did. Suggested routes.
Ultimately,
Okay,
though,
thank
it's
you.
up to you to decide how you want
They
to
say routes and it messes me up. Suggested routes. What accent is this? There's some rough terrain en route to your destination. Charge ahead carelessly and you could wind up lost or find yourself stranded at the top of a cliff with no way down. Study the suggested route before setting off by hovering the cursor over a few locations along the way and checking out the information about what you'll find there. Adjust the information, then tilt and zoom the map to help you figure out your preferred route. Got it. So, how do I get rid of this? Remove all markers. Stop! I don't mean to do that. Okay. Riverside route. Do we want to follow the river? Or do we want to go the flat route? Avoids all but the gentlest slope. This involves going the long way around and crossing several narrow rivers, where care will need to be taken. Oh, there's a difficulty. A relatively flat route that follows the path of a river. It's the shortest route to the destination, and its lack of inclines and declines make it a relatively easy option. You'll need to watch your footing on the large rocks that are strewn along the riverbank. Be sure to center your balance if it looks like you're going to take a tumble. Waterfall route. Which crosses a waterfall in the upper part of the river. You'll need ladders and ropes to traverse this route, and the sheer slopes and narrow footholds mean you'll have to watch. I bet Kojima went on a hike and was like, I could make a game out of this. This route approaches the incinerator from the southeast. This is the area in which Sam and Igor encountered a BT and is now the site of a crater. You guys want to go to a crater? Mountain route. Oh, this is the hardest. A route that follows the path of the river, taking a shortcut through the mountains. You'll need ladders and ropes. They all need ladders and ropes. This looks like the easiest way. Let's take the long way around. Is this the crater? What's this way? Mama! Woo-woo! This is the easiest. Surely that's the way we want to go, right? Let's go there. Easy. Because why would we make it harder for ourselves? Smile. Where's the route? So let's go here. Place a hecking marker there, please. Oh my goodness. You know what? I know where I'm going. Famous last words.
Sam, this is Die Hard. Dead men explained how to use the cuffs, right?
No.
Use them
I
to
mean,
check the
yes,
location
but
of the
it's not in my head anymore. Yep.
Sam, I don't think I need to remind you, but every minute counts when transporting corpses for disposal.
Stop!
48 hours following cardiac arrest, they go necro and become a fresh BT to make our lives hell.
That sounds horrible. I think I can pause, go to menu, and stop time, right? We have 48 hours in real time. Surely it won't take me that long. Maybe that's why they were like, take the short route. Corpses are more liable to sway from side to side. If you begin to lose your balance, use blah 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 to steady yourself. I know where I'm going. I don't need the... Whoa! Mother, please! Stay on my back. I love that her head is, like, not drooping at all. Mother! New definition for mommy issues. Oh my god, please stop talking about my mother while she's dead on my back.
People scattered to the four winds. She never stopped believing they could be reunited. People held on to their hope that America would rise again because they believed in her.
Sprint. Can't even go that fast. Doesn't even go any faster. Faster.
America lives on, together with Bridget's undying spirit.
I just really like the word bridge. Well, it's a good thing someone's talking to me, because passing medium authorized. Nice. Through these gates
Have a pleasant
lies
journey.
danger. Thanks, voice of mysteries. Alright. Now we actually gotta pick her out.
Beginning scan. Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. All clear.
Mother wanted to see the...
Border Bridges.
Welcome. I'm leaving.
Yeah, just like that.
Whoa. Whoa. Sam Bridges. I think we need to pick her out now. I may have tripped. Oh, okay. So if we just keep heading straight, we'll get to here. Uh-huh. No danger, right? This is danger. This is difficult. This is easy. We won't take 48 hours to reach that. Wait. One more. Go. Plot route. Yup. I don't see it still. This game is lying to me. Where's the way up? Do I have to cross water? Oh my god. Courtesy of Nevado Music. Zoomed out super far. Come on, mommy. It's a road trip. That looks steep as hell. Hold on. Okay. Stop. Pause the music. Oh, we do have to cross the river. Trip sand slider. Alright, this looks less dangerous. Maybe over there. This looks steep. Alright. Alright, Mom. Madam President. You dip your toes in the water real quick. Why are you walking like that? Chop chop, these bodies ain't gonna deliver themselves, right? I still can't believe they didn't... Sam. They didn't bring any porters knowing that she was about to die. Knowing it was her final moment. They were like, oh, she wants her son? That's one porter, I guess. Didn't expect her son to rip off all the... That wasn't even him! She threw herself at him. She was like, my boy, my son. Woo! Shift left, like this. Oh, the music ended. Is it time for danger? Back to grunt ASMR. This is what you guys were missing earlier.
Keep on keeping on, Sammy boy.
Sammy boy.
Too close.
We can't drop mom. Okay, I'll just hold both straps, I guess. Alright. Marker A. Marker A removed. Now what? Marker. This way. Yup. This looks easy, alright. I love that he's motivating himself as he's doing this. Such a good son. Climb! You got this! Do I have to keep pressing it? No? Oh my god, I just hit her head on the rock. Sorry. Oh, this is faster. Just bashing her head against the rocks. Yep. I'm getting winded just watching this. Use terrain scanner. Dangerous points such as steep slopes, rocks, and slippery surfaces. Is yellow? Yellow is... Let's try it. No? Oh my god, buddy. Oh, that's the... Why are we going up the hill? Something interesting to your left. It's the little... Cryptobiotes.
And me.
Just you, yourself, and me. What's this? That looks dangerous. Not gonna touch that. That looks like a creepy hand sprouting from the ground. No thank you. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing interesting there. Oh, look, there's another one. Ha 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 ha. What is it? For science? F pickup. But there's like a warning. Warning.
Sam, he's our man.
Sam, he's our man. I like how it warns you, right? But aren't we curious? Aren't we curious? What's there? Where's my marker? This way? We go up the hill?
Just a bit further now.
This way? Yes. Ah, I see it. What's the worst? When we don't have mama on our back, we'll handshake the hand sprouts. We did see a guy stab himself several times just to avoid something. Yeah, I don't know what happens if they eat you. Maybe you turn into one of those things and he didn't want to. Another hand.
God damn it. Too close.
Got it. Next marker. Straight this way. This way. Oh look, it's right there. Almost there. Not even 10 minutes. Maybe. I have no concept of time. There's more hands.
So that's the place, huh?
See? We went the long way and it's fine. No incidents. Nothing scary. Oh damn, that means we were so close to the incinerator because those guys were saving. You can save it here opening the cufflinks and selecting. Okay, well it's telling us to save. How to... What? Selecting system? How do I select system? What? Bruh, what? What? A open menu? Ah. Save. Save completed. Lovely. View interviews, your activity log, and more. We have interviews? No. Whatever that means. Okay. Okie dokie. Get on my back. Stay on my back. Yay, we're here. One final scan, just in case, because there's something on the road. What is this? A cabbage? Is that a weed? Alright. Into the furnace you go. Oh, this place is like not guarded at all. F. Cremate. Yup. Goodbye, Bridget. We have multiple just in case we have a lot of bodies. Quickly now. Before something comes. Mama! Okay. A rainbow. Uh-oh. Something about rainbows.
Chiralium density in the area is climbing rapidly. Heavy timefall is imminent. Get back here, now.
Ah! So do we take the short way now?
Sam, burn the other cargo while you're there.
It's the baby, isn't it? He's gonna be like, no.
What's this?
BB-28. It's the unit Igor was assigned. It was hooked up to you when we found you in the crater.
But why is it here?
Because it's flagged for disposal. Central Knot's gone, and our headquarters along with it. Because that thing didn't do its job. It's all in Igor's logs.
But it's still alive.
It can't be repaired, and it can't survive outside the pod. Pity it if you want, but the decision has been made. It has to go. The director approved the order.
Ah! Okay, well there's no power, so... talking about it in the... Maybe it'll work now.
Sam, do you copy? Damn it, must have lost you in the blackout. Sam, what's
You'd
your
think
status?
we'd wear masks
Irelium
by
density
now.
is still increasing.
My status is fucked. There's tons of them.
Must be from the bodies we couldn't get up to the incinerator in time. Comes with the territory, I'm afraid.
Can you sit out the rain?
No. They're closing in on my position. I have to move before they realize I'm in here.
Sam, if one of those things eats you, it'll trigger a void out. You'll come back, sure. But the
Oh.
surrounding area will still be a crater.
I got an idea.
Shake the baby. Hey, Mads.
Start, you shit. Maybe you are defective.
Maybe that... Ooh. Does it make them think they're one of them?
That's it. Do your thing.
And makes you see them? Wake up! Okay, now it'll tell us what it does.
Sam, we're sending you some suggested routes back to the city. Pick one or don't. Just get the hell out of there.
Whoa, straightest route. Now it's hard. Oh, evasion route. It's the easiest. Climbing anchor? I want to try climbing. Okay, we did the easiest route. Let's try the hardest. Wait. Where was it? Crouch. Move slowly while crouched reduces the sound produced by your footsteps. If you're using keyboard, control to walk slowly. Oh, control is to walk slowly. That would have been useful. See to crouch and walk. Got it. We're gonna be brave. What the hell? He's still... Can I put my hood on? Hold your breath. Right? Oh, alt. Oh my god. Holding your breath will make it harder for BTs to detect you while you're moving, but be careful when your endurance gauge is depleted. Take a deep breath. Oh god. Oh, they coming. Oh, they coming. Hey guys, I don't know where to go. Is it too late to choose the easy route? Did I put a marker because I can't see? I like how I walked straight into them too. It's okay if I die, right? I'll come back. It's just scary. Why? Are they coming for me? V, shake off. What are we doing? Whoa, buddy. What is happening? Buddy, you got this. Don't cry, baby. Don't cry. Don't cry. Well, that was easy. BB stress level increasing. Yeah, mine too. Enemy encounters produce a rush of adrenaline that rapidly restores stamina. Your stamina drops quickly once the rush passes. However, so be sure to rest or drink from your canteen. What canteen? 3. Hold 3 to select canteen. Bridges energy. Nice. I don't even know what my energy is right now. It's fine. Okay, so we went the wrong way. Where is it? That way. What's this way? Dare we go back there? It's not raining anymore, right? They're gone, right? They're gone. They had a bite of me, and now they're satisfied. What's with all the fish? Thank you for the hydrate. I'm out of tea. But I have me water.
Well, at least I'm getting my steps in.
Sir, you're always getting your steps in. Do we see what this is now? Hey. Oh my god. We're a mess. Hey. A special device is required to collect crystals of this kind. Got it. It looks like a hand. A crystal hand coming from the ground. Woo!
One foot right in front of the other.
Okay. 5 like. Thanks, Igor.
Today's a good day.
I can like... 5 can be pressed repeatedly during the window of time for sending likes. Oh. Oh, I can't like it anymore. How do I grab rope? After sending likes, you will have to wait a while before you can give more likes to that same object or individual. Oh, everybody does things for likes in the future, I guess. At the end of the world, you know, you need to see the good in some things. Interesting. How far down can I take this? Am I at the end? Nope. Oh, is this the end? No? Wow.
Easy now. Fuck.
A ladder. A ladder now. Let's spam likes. Good job, Igor!
Thanks for the help.
Thanks, Igor. Love the ladder, buddy. Wonderful placement. Whoa! Okay, so where do I go from here? Follow the river. Oh, I can see where I'm going. I don't need the GPS. It's right there. Ah, we can walk slowly. Let's eat some of these little guys. Because I'm pretty sure we took damage.
So bad.
He's just a picky eater. You know, it's not that bad. It's not chicken nuggets, but it's something. And now I want chicken nuggets. Oh, more music. Alright, here we go again. Alright, let's give Igor all our likes. Ready? It's 5, right? Yeah! Igor and his ladders and ropes. Good job, buddy. Me too. It's chicken nugget time. Around, around. Think of the algorithm. What is 270 likes worth if it all comes from one person? Listen. Some people need those numbers. Imagine I'm the only one liking these things. Because there's no one else here. Can I take a shower? If I go into the river... Crouch. Wash our booty cheeks. Cotton enough? Canteen? No, we're good. Hey, our pants are kind of clean, right? It kind of worked. I just gotta dunk our whole body into the water. But that was a really short song. Gonna get removed by bot detector? No! Don't remove my likes. Igor deserves...
Well,
wait, these weren't here before.
Steps in.
Oh. At least I'm getting my steps in. This one doesn't have any likes, but I didn't use it, so... Sorry, Igor. No, what? No. We'll do it anyway! Yeah! Whoa! Personal record. Alright. Take a bath. Oh shoot. The baby doesn't like it. Sorry, BB. Not carrying anything. The baby doesn't like the water. Baby is getting stressed. We're kind of cleaning ourselves off. I don't know how to clean our face though. fucking baby. Can I leave it in the... right here?
Just you, yourself, and me.
So, if they eat you, it triggers a void out and leaves a giant crater or whatever. Seems kind of OP considering they only ate one guy. Maybe they ate two. No, they ate one because we shot the other guy. Maybe that's where everyone went. Look at us. Such a mess.
Nobody out here but us damn fools.
You know, at this point, I don't blame him for talking to himself. Start talking to the baby. Hello, baby. Shakes hand. Oh, there's the entrance. How can we get resurrected, but the Presidente has one life? Who knows? Right? And we're her son.
Just you, yourself, and me.
Just you, yourself, and me. I think also Dead Man is one, but he hasn't died yet. So that's his first body, or original body. Run! We're at the finish line. We don't need stamina anymore. Go, Sam Bridges, go! Go, Sam Bridges, go! Inhabitants, 42,000.
Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. All clear. Welcome to Capital, not City. Proceed to Distribution Center.
Woo! Oh, we could have scanned for like deliveries, huh?
Back to the distribution center.
This one?
Check the location on your compass.
I don't wanna. We didn't burn the baby. Hey, he's walking on his own. It's time for more cutscenes. I'm dirty.
It's a miracle either of you made it back. When someone with dooms hooks up to a BB, your feelings and memories cause feedback, like with the speaker. It amplifies fears and stress, and runs the risk of taking you to a place from which you will not return.
Oh boy.
But this BB has been pushed beyond its limits. Disposal is the only option.
You want me to go back there?
Sam, get cleaned up and come to the president's office. We need to talk.
Uh-huh.
BB, don't worry. It's okay. I'll always be with you.
Okay.
See the sunset. The day is ending. Let that yawn out. There's no pretending.
Wash your face. How did I get likes? I thought it was top secret. You can see where I got scared down there. Rebuilding America achievement complete. Yay. How am I getting likes for this? Guys, I thought it was top secret. Who told? Die Hard smashing the like button. Him and Dead Man. Which movies? I don't recall any. Suddenly all the movies I've ever watched have disappeared from my brain. I know he's in stuff though. I think he was also in Doctor Strange, one of them, maybe. Unless I am delusional. Who knows? Let me know if you look it up. We're grade 8 porters now. Rogue One? Forgot his name? Mads Mikkelsen.
Sam, I thought I told you dooms and BBs were a dangerous combination. Huh, perhaps a shower is in order. You're still covered in chiralium. Don't want the president to see you like that.
The hell you talking about? She's dead.
You're upset. Is this about BB-28?
Go fuck yourself. I'm not your errand boy.
Well, in any event, it seems it owes you its life.
No, we owe
It's
the lives.
giving him the...
You too.
As you say,
It's giving him the finger.
Give my regards to the president.
Who's the president? Is she alive again? Are we hallucinating? At least shower first. Take your outside clothes off. You're always naked except now, huh?
It's almost time to go, Sam. Here. It's a dream catcher. Wear it when you sleep, and I'll keep the nightmares away. I'll always be with you.
The second person to say that. Amelie. Ah. He didn't even wash his face, you weirdo.
Good morning, Sam.
Sam, this is Die Hardman. There's a private room set aside for your use. Bridges perk. Take a moment to clean up, wash all that chiralium off, then come to the president's office.
Examine figures? Oh, this is where he punches you, right? If you stare at his pee-pee. Zoom in. T. Punch. Punch the camera. Punch the camera. Punch the camera. Punch the camera. Punch. Punch the This is one of the things that I know about it. He's pointing it at his toys. I wonder if this guy has autism. Thanks. He's like, look at my figures. Let's do it again. Look at him. You see? You see? Why is this so funny? I wonder what chiralium tastes like. Licorice. Only because I hate licorice. How do I... Ah, there. Wait. Check BB under construction. Examine table. Energy drinks. Sunglasses. Oh. They 3D print this in the lab? Let's take a shower. The toilet is also under construction. Guys, we can't pee in the shower. Oh! Booty! Oh, it's kind of reddish, huh? His toes are gone.
Sam, can you hear me?
Any soap?
Fuck's sake. Isn't anything private anymore?
Soap? Shampoo?
No.
4-in-1?
Except for taking a shower and going to the toilet, that is.
Oh. Please don't pee.
I take it you were getting yourself cleaned up.
Had to move my model real quick.
Come to the president's office as soon as you're done. She's waiting for you.
Or maybe she does have multiple bodies. What is it called? Repatriate?
You did well, Sam. Thank you. Bridget may no longer be with us, but her legacy has a chance to live on. Sam, listen to me. America, Reconstructionism, her dream isn't dead.
I don't want to hear it.
This is the face of our new hope. Our new America.
Oh my god.
Amelie.
My mother may be gone, but I'm here.
Lindsay Wagner.
And you, Sam,
Emily O'Brien? Huh?
you're here too.
Oh, she kind of looks like a...
Been 10 years since you saw each other,
forgot
right?
her name. The one
And
who
in all that
plays
time,
Pepper.
she hasn't aged a day.
He knows why.
Iron Man.
My body's still on the beach. I don't get to grow older.
She looks
But you
familiar.
do, Sam.
Yeah.
You look good.
So you're serious then about reconnecting everyone and everything?
Someone has to succeed Bridget, Sam. More importantly, someone has to carry on her legacy and see our country rebuilt. Samantha America Strand, our new president.
America.
A new beginning for our people, for our nation. Under Emily's leadership, we'll re-establish the UCA, the United Cities of America. This is how we'll rebuild our country. But we'll need your help to do it, Sam.
No, I'm through with this. I said my goodbyes to all of you when I said them to Bridget.
We never forgot about you, Sam. You ran away. You cut us off.
Stop gaslighting him.
Emily put together an expedition. The best of Bridges won. And went west.
I'm combing my hair. Idris? Nah.
I led them past craters in BT territory. I kept them safe while they searched for survivors.
Never once missed a BT. Saw him coming a mile away.
Unlike me, who went straight for them. Right into the middle of them all, right?
We convinced community after community to join the UCA. And we left behind our own people to help them. It took us 3 years, but we managed to make it all the way to Edgenot City.
All the way to the Pacific. Jesus.
Yeah. But then everything went to hell. The team was wiped out, and Emily was taken.
Oh. By people.
Taken.
I'm not being kept in a cell or anything like that. I'm allowed to use their facilities and to speak with you whenever I want. I just can't leave the city.
It's all to safeguard the continued independence of Edgenot City. Well, that's what our keepers are saying, at least. They want the UCA to leave him be. Emily's their insurance policy in case we don't.
Who are these assholes again?
Homo Demons. Militant separatist group. They run Edge Knot City.
I've heard.
Not the homos.
Towns killing people and leaving craters.
Right. Nothing's off limits.
Oh, a skull mask, like the one you're wearing.
You think the suicide that took out Central Knot was one of theirs?
Could be. There are extremists like the demons everywhere, plotting in the shadows. They're decentralized by nature. No one organization to rule them all. Just a common ideology.
I know not everyone shares our vision for the future. If we Americans don't come together again, humanity won't survive. I carried my mother's message to people all across the country.
So many cutscenes.
But not everyone was willing to accept it.
More than a few would rather stay isolated. Keep to themselves. Go it alone. Like you, Sam. They think that America can only be rebuilt by force, by men who tell them what to do, who take away their freedom and
his voice should
put
be
them
muffled.
in shackles.
What'd you put on me, huh? You know better than the demons. Just another kind of cult.
They're not shackles, Sam. They're a symbol of our bonds. That's what we need right now. Not to stand
Original
apart, but to
Fall
come
Guy.
together. To form chiral knots and reconnect.
Sam, we
watch
want
that.
you to go west and finish what Emily started. The people she left behind have been hard at work, setting up chiral network terminals. But these
Showed him her
terminals
shield.
are still isolated.
They're right there.
We need
I
you
went
to bring
straight
them
for it.
online. And for that, you'll need a Cupid. This contains all the necessary security and operations protocols to integrate a terminal into the chiral web. Take the Cupid west, Sam.
There's so much
and reconnect the
information
people
being
of
fed
our
into
great
me
nation.
that I'm just
And when you
spacing
get
out.
to Edge Knot City, find Emily and bring her home.
After that, I'll take over the presidency and carry on Mother's work to save the country.
This was Bridget's dying wish. This is how we'll move forward.
Please, Sam. We need you.
So are they siblings or
I'm
what?
Sam Porter Bridges now. I'm not a Strand. Hell, I'm not even part of this outfit. You all saw to that. I'm not getting involved with you or anyone else ever again.
Wait!
She's not really here, so.
See? It's like I'm not even here. Same as it ever was.
Sam!
I feel like they're constantly gaslighting you. Yeah, I agree. Don't help them. They can help themselves.
Hold on. Stop!
To heck with America.
Listen to me. America needs you.
I'm gonna go join the homos.
Covering the world in cable didn't bring an end to war and suffering. Don't act surprised when it all comes apart if you try to do it again. Round and round it goes. Connect, reconnect, it's not that simple.
All right, Sam. Just take it easy. I get it. You don't have to commit to anything now. Why not get some rest?
Good idea. We all need our sleep. Leave it too long and you're liable to reconnect with the other side. The necessary maintenance has been completed. Various
Why is it
adjustments and
crying?
fine-tuning
Stop
for your
shaking.
benefit.
Stop shaking the baby.
You can use it again.
Latte's trying to sniff stuff. Stop.
For once, it would seem that Dooms and BBs are a good
Come here, Latte.
combination. Or perhaps the two of you have something of an affinity for one another.
Want a mod that changes his baby to a cat? Find me one and install it for me, and I'll do it. Latte's being naughty. Stop it. I fed you already. Why are we here? Is it every time we sleep?
Sam. Listen, you are Sam Strand.
No, I'm not. Not anymore. My name is Sam Porter Bridges.
It's a funny word, Strand. A strand is part of rope or bond, while stranding means being washed up on the shore. And being stranded is when you can't go home. I'm stranded now, Sam. Here on the shore of the Pacific.
Lots of play on words.
Thousands of miles away. But our bond still holds.
Is she his mother? No, she's not his mother. What? I'm so confused.
You're free, but we're still connected. Don't tell me we're not.
You have allergies too?